Hello and welcome to IR TV Now, a show where we unpick the latest trends affecting IR professionals right now. In this episode, we will be discussing artificial intelligence and its impact on the IR community globally. We look at the challenges of safely implementing it across the business and the benefits of having an AI policy. Our reporter Noemi Di Stefano finds out more.
Artificial intelligence has taken the world by storm and is shaking up everything from many spheres of our daily lives to our jobs. In the realm of investor relations, while the technology has immense potential to revolutionize or optimize the day-to-day tasks carried out by IR professionals, it also raises some questions. Which AI tool is best for me? How do I ensure I use it safely? Does my business need an AI policy? How will it shape the IR profession in the long term?
We make investor relations more data-driven, efficient and responsive.
Probably I see in some ways AI as an extension to my team, just because of improved and better efficiency overall.
Now it will be important to be tech savvy, or at least open to understand new technologies and use it. And we already saw it in other businesses, how they adopted to the new digital era.
When it comes to artificial intelligence in investor relations, generative language models such as GPT-4 are increasingly being used for a variety of tasks, including research, scripting, presentations, and general content creation. However, there is a divide between IROs who are willing to embrace the tools right now and those who still remain skeptical. Either way, one of the questions IR professionals are most concerned about is how to use AI safely. We speak to leading IROs who are actively using AI tools to find the answer. For Quentin Weber, Senior Advisor for IR at WSP, carrying out the appropriate due diligence is paramount when using AI tools.
We're always doing the appropriate due diligence. So in terms of, making our own due diligence, it's really about data privacy and security controls. So a good indication of these type of questions is to ask those service providers with reputable certifications that they might have to provide some additional credibility in the market. So having those engagements with them, knowing what type of efforts and investments they've been doing in terms of data privacy, I think is a great question to ask and a discussion to engage with these service providers. And as I said, reputable certifications are certainly a way to provide some additional safety when it's time to onboard those new tools.
For Irina Logutenkova, it's important to gather all the necessary information from your tech provider before implementing the tools.
I think first you need to read terms and conditions, big humans hate reading those and we usually skip it, but you should read it, you should understand it, maybe even seek expert lawyer's opinion for thorough understanding and ask those questions like how do they use this information, how they store it, is it encrypted, is it safe and protected from the breach, do they use a private cloud. So it's really important to understand, and that will limit your usage, your safe usage basically. And then use your common sense. So if you're not ready for the whole internet to see this, maybe you shouldn't input in those free and publicly available tools that say that they could actually share this information with anyone. And commercial or intellectual property is really important because you don't want to give your competitive advantage away.
When thinking about safety, having an AI policy in place could be beneficial, as it sets some internal parameters and guidelines for the responsible use of AI tools. We found that some companies have already established an AI policy, though company-wide rather than at an IR team level. Weber said for WSP, one of the advantages of rolling out an AI policy is that it allows users to correctly leverage the strength of the technology.
our workforce to use a variety of tools to deliver those complex solutions. And we of course also leverage a lot of data, and we constantly innovate. That's just the nature of who we are. Considering all these factors, it just made sense to look at having an AI policy established, and also to have a framework and specific guidelines for us and our workforce to correctly leverage the strength of AI when it's time to deliver those projects. So whatever we implemented in terms of AI policy for the business as a whole is also applicable for the IR team. I mean, it's a policy that's pretty recent, being actively worked on, and it's going to be constantly updated. As you know, AI is evolving extremely rapidly. So I feel like our AI policy will need to be updated constantly to be at the top.
So what steps should you follow to form an AI policy?
A lot of internal and external research. We held internal sessions with employees and our management to get their understanding, how they feel about the tools and their opinion. And from there we can go back and do further research and refine our thoughts and how we're going to deploy AI into our products and workflows.
Basically, we formed a working group, and it consisted of legal counsel, several top managers, a project delivery director, and several team members that already used this kind of tools. And we had a series of meetings, and we discussed advantages and also some risks and concerns we have about AI. And we mapped out what we want to address and what we want to share with the whole team within the organization. And worked out a policy with a few drafts and iterations, a few comments rounds.
And if your company is thinking about establishing an AI policy right now, this is what should be in it.
First of all, which tool are you considering to approve, and which data are you willing to share, and is this data how are we going to protect this data? Of course, copyright, compliance, ethical issues, and of course training and reporting are the most important factors, as I see.
I think it's really important to cover how we currently use these tools and some potential future uses, because at least those were the questions we came up because some people they ask do we even need these tools? Why do we need separate policy and learn it and follow this? So it would be good to map out how you're gonna use it, and then obviously some advantages of using it, because we actually encourage our team members, if it's safe and if it helps to save their time, we encourage the use of it, but also disadvantages and risks, what you should be aware of, and then really clear guide how to safely use it and who to consult within the organization if you have any doubt.
From my perspective, I think establishing, some early context is key when defining AI, its scope and its various applications. I feel that sometimes, we use AI, but we don't even know we're using AI when it comes to certain tools. So providing that context is very important, and to make sure that the workforce actually realizes they might be using some AI tools. I think there should be some emphasis that is added on its ethical use, because it's really important to have a very clear understanding of what's the purpose of leveraging AI, and also to avoid, at any cost, really, the use of any personal or sensible data. So you want to be very careful and conscious about that. And finally, I think aligning the AI policy with your procurement team or the procurement process is inevitable, to make sure that there's actually a streamlined process when it's time to consider new AI solutions that will help you work on a daily basis.
And whether that time to embrace AI has come for your company, or you're still weighing up its pros and cons, this is how some early adopters have been using it in their day-to-day. Logutenkova, for example, who runs the IR function solo, says AI has freed up time to focus on forward planning and strengthening the IR program.
when you one man, one woman show, you have to do a lot of things yourself, like from high level strategic stuff to like really some mundane tasks, like including, for example, drafting social media posts. And it helps save time for me, and it helps, to carve some time to focus on really big strategic stuff and actually to think about strategy, what's next and what else can I do, how else can I promote, the business, how else I can engage with investors. So it shaped my days. Yeah, I have like more, may I say, like more interesting stuff to do now, and I spent less time on some like more boring stuff.
Right now, it's a mix of tools, including general research, transcript summaries, Q&A preparation, PowerPoint presentations, and overall content creation. So it's all reputable tools with credible market reputation and client feedback.
We also asked early adopters how they think AI will shape the future of IR in the long term.
Starting with the data, I mean, we will now be able to collect all this massive amount of data, and so we can do analysis and interpretation. This can give us valuable insight in investor preference and the behavior, and I mean, of course, market trends. We can do investor profiling and segmentation. We can do personalized investor communication. But with AI, there is a lack of transparency and explainability. Will we trust AI? I mean, take for example pilots. I think it would be more safe to use machines as pilots, but we still use humans, and we still need humans. And investor relations is about building relationships as well. So we will still be needed. We still need that human touch.
Like it could impact like team composition, for example. But I don't think like AI gonna steal like the whole IR function and like the knowledge of finance, economics, and again, like you can't steal relationship building,
While it doesn't look like AI is there to replace the IR function as a whole, going forward, would your company consider hiring a junior IR practitioner or use an AI tool which can handle the same tasks?
If you ask me 1 year, I would very likely say not a person to do the basic tasks. But right now, I don't feel we are there yet. So now I would actually hire one. But again, I think we will be much more efficient, and I think probably the IR teams will be smaller due to this, and that is great.
Juniors do like a lot of this stuff, but they do it worse than ChatGPT actually. So I actually cut those costs a lot, and yeah, I can imagine like if you think long term, and if you're really gonna invest like in someone, and he or she will grow and create like a professional, help you in more meaningful way, it could still be worth it. But if you're like really strapped for money, like you don't have budget, maybe it will steal some junior IR roles.
Asking his final thoughts on the use of AI, Weber says it's time for IR to embrace the change.
Like anything, I think we're faced with change, and with change comes sometimes a lot of skepticism, a bit of stress and anxiety, etc. So from my perspective, I believe AI is just another tool for the IR toolbox. That's just really the way I see it. And personally, I've always been very open to new ideas and innovation. So I think as a profession, IR professionals should embrace the change and evaluate ways to best leverage this additional resource.
That's all the time we have for this episode. If you would like to view our dedicated AI content, go to irmagazine.com. Until then, goodbye.